Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and welcome back to Rostermania. Lots going on last night, some drama between some pro players, some rumours potentially coming to fruition, but also plenty of discussion about the next Call of Duty title, even past Call of Duty Vanguard. Very much intrigued to get your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. I've already upset the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, these Tin the Tatman things kind of crack me up, I think they're kind of funny. This from Gamepedia, feeling on top of the world, knowing Toronto Ultra are going to win this when they're up 4-0 in the grand finals of stage 5. Unfortunately, that didn't quite work out. And this as well for the fact last night, can't wait until they announce a top 5 roster, that being Paris Asian. I kind of doubt that is going to happen at this point, but who really knows what's going on with some of these organizations right now. Plenty to discuss on these later today, but certainly the Seattle Surge, kind of the counterparts of Paris Asian down there in the bottom 4 last season, are potentially making some sort of moves. Well, of course, they are making some sort of moves. What will they be? That remains to be seen. This from Fred, though, one of the shining stars of the Australian or, the APAC region more generally, really, the last couple of years, he, seems to have signed somewhere. We saw just a few days ago when Octane did a similar kind of contract signing type thing. Just a couple of days later, the official announcement was coming in. And of course, this coincides rather interestingly with that Seattle Surge doing a tweet last night. We will look at a Cruise, of course, also down there from the APAC region, did great things over the North American Challenger side, moving over there this year. Can't wait to see what you do, bro. See SEA, like at Seattle Surge. You know how it goes at this point. That may indeed well be the case, especially given that is the rumor right now. Seattle Surge come out with this as well. Keep an eye out this week. So sometime this week, we imagine going to be some sort of announcement with regard to the Seattle Surge. There's also in the background of this like a Morse code thing playing, and people are going to try and translate it, and Crane does the translation right here. Intel incoming. So yes, in a few days time, we're going to have an idea what the Seattle Surge are going to be for next year. Hopefully a very different roster building philosophy to what they've done the last couple of years. That hasn't really worked out too well for them. The rumor has it right now they're going to build around accuracy as kind of the veteran main AR, bring in Sib as kind of the flex player on the team, definitely an incredibly talented player, but certainly a hot head, right, we've heard about in the challenger scene the last couple of titles. But then also on the SMGs, we've got Pred rumored right now, and then Mac on that kind of second SMG, which honestly, it could be kind of nice, but it's not going to be in immediately in the top conversation, but certainly a team with a lot of potential going forward, if that is indeed the confirmation. But more to discuss on that, I'm sure, over these coming days, after that things do begin to get confirmed. This then from aBeZy I thought was kind of funny. Not exactly sure what this refers to, but there is plenty of discussion right now around a guy like TJHaLy. What's going to happen next year to a guy like TJ when he finds himself in a spot where obviously right now, like, he was on a very difficult opportunity on the Los Angeles Thieves this year. I mean, it had a great opportunity, but towards the end of the season didn't really work out too well. To be honest, they were probably at their best when they had TJ in, when they beat OpTic that one time, and they were kind of considered a top 4 team in the game at that point. Then he got replaced for Huke, then things kind of kicked off further than that, and now he finds himself in a spot where he played challenges for the last part of the year, not really, didn't really necessarily perform too well over there, and a lot of people are then questioning, like, where does TJ go next year? Does he get back in a starting lineup for next season? Because there's not too many veteran, like, SMG players that most people would consider to be, like, the top of their game, but TJ could be potentially one of them that hops back in, even though, obviously he was phenomenal back in World War II, like, probably the best SMG player in the game, the best, like, full-out SMG player outside of Kenny, I guess, who would have to be number 1, and then you've got TJHaLy probably number 2 in that title. I mean, it dropped some crazy numbers in that game, but the last couple of years hasn't quite been the same story, and aBeZy is kind of, the TJ of today in the sense of what TJ was back in World War II. aBeZy's kind of that guy, says, you can't gun me. I'm not sure whether they're playing Warzone or something. There was some kind of funny replies to this, so false accusations from TJ right here, but it definitely does remain to be seen what happens this year. I think Crimsix said a while ago on the flank that he believes TJ will find himself a spot this year in the CDL, but it's not necessarily going to be clear cut whether there's going to be no rumors coming out about that right now. Thought this is kind of funny as well, actually, because we talked just a couple of days ago about the kind of beef maybe that some of the FaZe guys have had with the other organizations, namely Los Angeles Thieves. And this clip right here from a few months ago, when aBeZy's humiliating Venom on Los Angeles Thieves on this checkmate control that I was actually mentioning a couple of videos ago, and TJ was on this team at the time, so kind of entertaining. And this is one that TJ goes in the chat, you think that tweet was funny. So it seems like some banter between the two of them, but there's still many questions being raised about what could potentially be going on with TJ going into next year. Now, we looked at this a couple of days ago as well. There was a lot of discussion about auto tax wins in this year's Call of Duty Vanguard title, and that discussion certainly is continuing. We saw from Priestahh came out and said, I'm just going to use auto tax wins anyway, because it kind of ruins controllers if you're not using it. But there is a fair bit of points, and Standy also kind of said, I'm just going to use it anyway. Let's just go ahead and use it this year, lads. Let's not bother with any of this BS that we've dealt with the last couple of titles, I suppose, with this setting being gentleman's agreemented out of professional play. But a fair bit of talk really from some of the pros the last couple of days about exactly what this could could mean. And well, some pros are being on board, I suppose, with it getting removed, and some pros certainly happy to keep the status quo as it has been. So as Slasher said a couple of days ago, we looked at bow down and take auto tac sprint off or else. We've seen a fair bit of discussion over that last couple of days, but Censor comes out and says the following: if we have tactical sprint in Vanguard, which I mean indeed we do, of course we've seen this in the beta the last several days, you can do like the tactical sprint, which is like the full-on sprint, the double sprint in effect, and then there's an auto tactical sprint option in the game where you can just hold your left stick forwards and then you go, you sprint off full pelt into the distance. Now a lot of pros would say, and have said the last couple of years, this gives an advantage to players with worse movements, that they can't just like press their thumbstick twice forwards and all the complexities that comes with that. Instead they just hold it forwards and they tac sprint off into the sunset. And well, the Censor says right here, if we do have tac sprint, I think we should allow automatic tactical sprint. Our controllers are getting torched having to slam our left stick 2 million times a day. Plus I think I have my first ever thumb tattoo inside my left thumb as a result of all this stuff the last couple of years. Thoughts on this one from the professional scene? Now it's kind of interesting, right? Because a lot of pro players I imagine would say to guys like Censor and also to guys like aBeZy, who goes on to like this tweet, as you can see right here, that maybe it's these type of players, the kind of veteran SMG players that aren't quite as cracked out as the young guys, that there's a reason why a lot of the newer pro players maybe have decided to GA this as an attachment, as well as a setting, so that these kind of veteran SMG players that maybe don't have the greatest movement can't get that advantage in a sense. Like aBeZy's probably sitting there thinking, well, yeah, I can slam my left stick forward much more efficiently than these guys, and therefore that's what we're going to do. At the end of the day, is it the greatest thing for your, your hands or your left hand, and also for your controller itself? Maybe not, but of course there was some replies to this in the discussion whether it should indeed be the case, because Clayster seems to think, okay, yeah, let's just use it this year, let's use the setting and save ourselves, the issues with the hands, but also with the controllers. Standy thinks a similar thing, but ILLey, we saw Slasher as well, not particularly happy about it. Censor wants it, but ILLey's like, okay, he just drops the thumbs down, and I guess that is enough to say, yeah, okay, yeah, we're not using it this year, lads. Let's we'll keep the status quo as it has been the last couple of titles. But certainly a very interesting gentleman's agreement these last couple of years. Definitely intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below, whether you think it should be returned to form, or whether it's going to go down a similar route that it has done at the last couple of titles. So of course, sound off on the Vanguard beta, say Los Angeles Grillers. Lots of thoughts really on this the last several days. The PC beta just around the corner, it seems like, well, hopefully that is going to be a better time than the Call of Duty Vanguard PS4 beta was, especially because the PS4 seemed to be somewhat suspect. We certainly did discuss this. I thought was pretty ridiculous from CDL memes. This is, I believe, the base recoil of the bar. Maybe it's got a couple of attachments on it. This is the thing, if you don't have 10 attachments on your weapon, it's just going to shoot like this. This is going straight up into the sky. I've never really seen a recoil quite this high. And of course, this guy isn't trying to put it down and try to control it, but it's still, that's a pretty difficult piece of recoil to control on that BAR. Well, no, really called it the BAR, did they? They called it the bar back in the World War II days, and I guess that's what this weapon is as well. But yeah, I guess you need all the attachments on it. This is the thing, there's going to be so many attachments GA'd, but I'm not really sure why the recoil has to be this high. Then again, though, I don't mind recoil in the game, because the last couple of titles, we've seen most of the weapons just have no recoil at all. Kind of starting from Black Ops 4, I mean, it was a bit before that, to be fair, as well, but in Black Ops 4, you remember the ICR with double grip? That thing did not move, literally at all, did not move at all. And ever kind of since then, there's been a lot of the weapons, especially the main assault rifles, even the SMGs, that are very easy to use at range. Going back and playing Black Ops 2 recently, it's a stark contrast that if you have an MSMC, you can't just shell someone across the map with an AO and hope to win the gunfight, like you can with the 74U. There's no way in the original Black Ops 2 you're going into top art on Raid, for example, and just shelling the guy top laundering without an issue with the 74U, as you can do in Cold War, and in the more recent titles really with the SMGs. Back in the day, the recoil was crazy. You don't even get aim assist outside of a certain range with the SMGs. You get aim assist to a further range with the ARs, and that really made things quite different, right, in terms of how these recent games plays. And also the recoil is incredibly low on some of the weapon in general, right? We saw standoff was actually becoming an issue in competitive play, because the crit could just beam you all across the map from top green over towards the cross, from the tank over towards the crates, and therefore the pros kind of decided, okay, this is kind of ridiculous, in addition to some other problems with that map. So I'm happy for recoil to actually be making a return. Maybe this is one step too far, you could certainly argue so. And this also a discussion from Tom Henderson yesterday. It looks like Call of Duty 2022, this doesn't really come as a massive surprise, but still maybe you could argue somewhat frustrating, is codenamed Project Cortez, so whatever implications that has, we don't really know. It is expected to be a sequel to Modern Warfare 2019. So of course, from the competitive side, this is of course somewhat of a concern. I'm certainly hoping that this year's Vanguard can actually be a very good competitive title, because the year after this one is already looking somewhat suspect, I would say, because yes, Modern Warfare was not the greatest competitive title I believe we've ever seen in competitive Call of Duty history. We talked yesterday about the game modes that could come back, and now I'm pretty sure most of you guys guys weren't particularly keen on Domination making its return, but maybe it will do if Infinity Ward are just going to copy and paste Modern Warfare from 2019 and go again in 2022, which may be the case, and the competitive support is probably not going to be where we would like it to be, and therefore for a few reasons I'm somewhat concerned about this one. But at the end of the day, is it really a surprise to see Modern Warfare 2022 going to come out, I suppose, just next year, and hopefully this year's a good year for Vanguard and more. They do good stuff on the competitive support side, because not exactly expecting that from Infinity Ward. And just to finish off with this, I thought was kind of interesting from Visions, because we've talked about a pick ban system, right? The banner protect that was back in the Black Ops 3 days, but it would be kind of interesting to see like the map vetoes publicized a little bit more, how exactly they go through, because right now they just bring up the graphic, right, in terms of which maps are being played, which maps got banned. We didn't really get to see the order in which it came in, like which teams did what at certain times, and actually get to discuss through it really as as a casting talent, I suppose, on the desk. So there's a lot of things you could do with this. Certainly in terms of like banner attack from back in Black Ops 3, I wouldn't mind to see that return in some form or another, but just way less cumbersome than it was. Like maybe each team gets one ban, or each team gets like two bans or something between the players, and therefore you can switch up the meta a little bit, but not exactly causing chaos like it was back in the Black Ops 3 days, and also made League play and Arena as it was in that title very frustrating indeed. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. I know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you much as always, take care, and I will see you next time.